Hello, hello. Welcome to Beth of Fresh Air. That's the first time I ever said that. That's kind of fun for me. And glad to have a few people in the chat already. Anonymous guest, one of my favorite mods ever. Achille, nice to see you here. I like your name, by the way. That's very beautiful. I assume that's like a woman's version of Achille, or it might still be the man's. And Amos made it. Yay! So good. That's great. And Maya wouldn't be the same without Maya. Super nice. Well, welcome everyone. Glad you're here. And I don't have music for this brand new podcast. I'm wondering, I always, of course, want to use my own music. That would seem very logical. But when I try to play my own recordings on YouTube in particular, I get a strike for that. So go figure, what the heck, right? I can't use my own recorded music. And I could just sing, but I am not quite there yet, and still waiting for this hand to wake up. Better than it's ever been. Come a long way, and you like it best. Yeah, Achille, nice. But yeah, I'm not quite in that place where I can fret a guitar quite yet. As long as I don't use this guy, if I don't use my FU finger, then it's fine. It's like we're good. So I am going to talk about that a little bit today, the big reset that I have. And you love the name Beth the Fresh Air. That's so great. I'm really glad. I was pretty happy. At first I was kind of grumpy. Maybe I'll just get right into it in having to start again. Has anyone been in that situation lately where you thought you were on your track and on your path, and then all of a sudden you got to pick up from what feels like the beginning again? And I wrote about this in my book, so it's quite a phenomena. It definitely has its signature kind of experience. And I am, if you don't know me already, I am a hunter of signature experiences. Why? Because it simplifies things. Otherwise, it seems like all kinds of maybe random chaos going on, and you have to somehow deal with every little bit of random chaos, this and that, inside, outside, and multiple characters and situations. And for a few straight years now, Polly says, yes. So thanks for sharing that. That can happen, exactly, where you literally feel like it's an ongoing beginning. And that can happen. There can be reasons I'll talk about why, if that's the case, that you feel stuck there, why that might be. Because we're definitely meant to travel, and we come around again and again and again and again to the beginning. So let's see what to do. What do you guys think about music? I might try to hold my son down, but my son now has a full-time job. And he also, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, has a full-time girlfriend. So between those two, I don't see him anymore. Although I was very strategic and I got him to agree to come away for a couple of days. We're going to blow the border, not in any illegal way, of course, but we are going to cross over into the promised land. The US always feels like the promised land compared to Canada. So it's kind of exciting, even though where we're going is not exciting. But hello, Chris Unherded. Nice to see you. Oh, I just got your name. Very, very smart. I love that. Unherded. And are we actually herd animals? I always go back and forth. Are we pride animals? Are we herd animals? It can kind of seem both ways. And your voice will be original to the podcast, to your opinion. Nice, nice. Yeah, on that signature experience, signature vibration, the simplicity is gold, because then you're not dealing with so many random, what seem like random things and different things. You're dealing with one signature vibration inside yourself that attaches itself to a whole bunch of different situations. And if you can deal with that holding of whatever that signature vibration is, if you can, I'll say things like release it, let it go, whatever that means. I think I'm still in a mindset of that those words don't quite work, but they work enough. And that's where we're mostly at with words. You have to use a lot of metaphors to talk about that which is especially unconscious or in the esoteric or the spiritual, right? God can't be named. And it defies any naming. It defies any description. It defies it, right? So none of that stuff works. But when it comes to the realm of our senses, what can be known, which frequency is a part of, vibration is part of, then that can be studied, that can be looked at, that can be recognized. And so again, I do recommend pattern hunting as a pastime or a hobby, something that you could do all day long, actually, and to find the patterns and know the patterns and feel the vibration of those patterns as you bring them to life every day in your body and your interactions. Just a tone would be great. Okay, so we can all tone together. That's a great idea, Kelly. So we'll start with a tone. This is at the beginning. This will be the, may as well pick Om because it is the seed sound. And I won't be able to hear you guys singing, but I'm going to have some faith. I'm going to trust that you guys are going to join me in this. And perfect. That's great. Good suggestion. So here we go. I'll make a breath with Beth. Yes, the toning starts with breathing. If you don't breathe, you can't tone and breathe out. So here we go, guys. One more time. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I feel like I could hear you in the ethers. So I appreciate that. And breath with Beth. Yes, it's very nice. So it does harken back to my India days, which I have actually been returning to a little bit. And that's the interesting part about beginnings, because it's a cycling, really, is what it points towards. And those cycles are patterns, right? They're the same kind of patterns that can be noticed. I think I'm coming to my second Saturn return. I haven't looked into exactly what that means, but maybe I've been seeing some signs of that in my life around the theme today, which is resetting, beginning again, right in line with I'm going to talk about how the name Beth of Fresh Air came about, how the show came about. I want to shout out to Dagmar Stansova, who did the first 6 episodes of Yin on the Rocks with me, by the way. That was lovely. Our conversations were very satisfying and interesting. And it wasn't to go on into the future on this channel, but you might be able to go and find it. Dagmar might be doing it on her own. Maybe she'll have me as a guest sometime. Maybe I'll have Dagmar as a guest on Beth of Fresh Air sometime. But I'm generally gonna go it solo for this one. And the Saturn return is significant. I know in my first Saturn return, that was just on the heels of getting diagnosed with a stage 4 lymphoma. So that it really was, time caught up with me and my life, and it said, "Oh, you are toxic to a very advanced level. Time to stop and quit everything and lose everything, including what I thought was going to be my life." If you don't know that story, then I have told it many times, but it is in detail in my book. It's called Journey, a Map of Archetypes to Find Lost Purpose in a Sea of Meaninglessness. I almost always have a copy here, but I don't for some reason. Took it somewhere, but it is on my website. And Saturn return is a big thing, and it's been a big year. It's been oh my goodness, coming apart year. I was talking to someone yesterday. I've been talking to a lot of people in my world, in my community, on my email list, so to speak, my people, if I call it that. Some people get really offended my people, and so many interesting things have come up, and it's got me out of that place of feeling like I was teeter-tottering right on the edge. And I do have, by some people's astrological standards, I am a Scorpio, and then so the Scorpio tends to be very intimate with death, right? That I almost called this a near-death experience, or pardon me, a near-Beth experience, not a near-death experience. That was another tongue-in-cheek possibility, but this one is definitely brighter and more optimistic, which I think is a really good thing and a good theme. And I keep interrupting myself. So there's so many directions I want to talk about in at the same time. And let's see. So maybe I will start with the reset that I had, and I'll just give you a little picture of how this went. That notwithstanding some of the struggles and trials that I had getting up to date with my taxes this year, that one I'm going to leave some of the gory details out. It was a bloodbath, I'll just tell you that. So that was traumatic for me, for someone that never, I just didn't want to have anything to do with anything in the public. The rebel in me really railed against that, and so yeah, had a bit of a conniption. Now that seemed like it was enough already, the stress of that. I got past it. I'm growing my rebel up. I'm moved into the warrior, and just did what needed to be done. Now I'm in the process of hiring someone new to help me with all of that stuff, because I've had somebody who was like absolutely terrible, didn't even return a text for like 6 weeks, 20 weeks, cost me a great deal, not just in frustration. So there was that. And then I very innocently, I've been working with Dr. Garrett Smith, and I, when there's something that is wrong, or a mystery or something I want to solve in my health, I inevitably bring it to him. And I asked him one day, and so I had this little strange thing on my finger, kind of like a growth. I didn't even call it a growth. I didn't know what to call it. It almost needed its own name. It was like it was trying to grow a new finger or a new fingernail, like really alien, kind of weird. And yet it had been there for like 10 years, and it wasn't really killing me of any, I didn't worry about it. I didn't think about it. And then I thought, oh, I'll just ask him. So it was one of those, things that came up without any premeditation whatsoever. And Polly, I guess, is a Scorpio too. Nice. That's great. And I've got tons of Libra, including my moon. And then so he said, try this black salve, Amazon black salve. Quite a few people have heard of it in the natural health world, and I never had. And I go reading up on it, and it turns out that it's for skin cancer. Can I say that? I'll say that word once. And I'm like, oh, I never even considered that possibility, even though actually my dad had much of a lot of that over the years in his later life. So so then I ordered the stuff, and I put a little drop one day, I put a little drop the next day, and a little drop the next day. That was sort of the thing that they recommend. And then it turned in, what happened is my whole entire right hand blew up in inflammation and swelling, and it got so painful I couldn't use it. I lost use of my right hand. There were some sleepless nights for the pain. I never did take anything. I just would rather not poison my liver more than it already is contending with from my past. And then all of a sudden I'm right-handless. It's like, oh, fascinating. Like, this is what I call a plot twist, right? Like, didn't anticipate. I knew something might happen to the finger, just this tiny little dot place, right? But my body launched a massive reaction to it, and that was good. Actually, that was ultimately good. I thought, the worst case scenario, nothing would happen and I wouldn't solve the mystery. But I solved the mystery. And so that was very long lasting in its healing. And, finally the hand stopped swelling, the whole hand, and the fingers all around is like they were in sympathy to this is one finger. And then next thing you know, I saw it had blown up in quite a pocket of garbage in there. It broke, it released the stuff, and then the whole entire layer of skin on my finger died systematically over a few, like maybe a week or 10 days or something like that. And then it didn't want to be touched ever again. It was like, I'm like worse than a brand new baby here. I am exposed. And so don't use me, it was saying, don't use me. Okay, so while I'm busy trying to protect the right hand from any use, yeah, it wasn't that scary in this case because I did it to myself. I understood it. I read up really well on the process. It came recommended from Dr. Garrett Smith, who I've learned to, I don't talk about trusting people, but I've learned to value his opinion and his experience. He had used it. That's one of the reasons I value his opinion and experience, because he's tried most everything on himself. And so, it wasn't that scary. It was just painful and limiting. It was funny. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks to come up with the word handicap when I saw a commercial for the government was saying, "Oh, are you handicapped? We'll take care of you. There's resources." And I looked at my hands, and I'll tell you the next story. And I'm like, I guess that's what you call it when you can't use your hands, is handicap. But I ain't gonna go to the government, and I ain't gonna go into any doctors for sure. And so one night I come home from the farm where I was working just really slowly, but it seemed all good. I was able to protect my hands with gloves, and then I was fine. I could use them to a certain degree. And then I came home with brand new, beautiful, high potassium, low A potatoes. And I wanted a potato. First, I had white corn, low A corn, yum, like amazing, right? And I'm just at night, I'm going, I'm having this party with a piece of corn, and I'm going to eat the potato. So I go and I try to cut the potato. And because I'm protecting my right hand, I took a brand new knife that I, at that moment, kind of regretted getting an extremely sharp set of knives because it was the best deal ever. I could not resist. And the potato slipped, the board turned, the potato slipped, slippery, and this brand new knife took nearly the whole pad of my finger at an angle off. And then I'm like, oh my fucking God, what have I done? And the blood was just streaming, and I hope you guys don't mind all the gory details. But I went just running, and I ripped open some gauze with my teeth, and I smooshed it back on like a warrior. I just smooshed my finger back. It didn't come right off, but I knew that I needed to stop that bleeding. I know, oh Jesus, right? And I held it above my head for a good half hour while I prayed and I released, because at that point I'm panicking. There's nobody around, and it's like, do I need an ambulance? What's going on here? And I did manage to stop the bleeding after half an hour, and then but I've been left with a very severe wound. My sister helped me a little bit to not go to the doctor. I probably could have. I don't know if I should have. Stop that. You need them to stop bleeding, and you need them to not get a scar, which I didn't have huge concern about when it comes to my hands. Nobody will notice or care. And then I'm down two hands, right? First I'm down one hand, then I'm down two hands, and I'm really, truly much more handicapped. And then my life just kind of started to dissolve. I couldn't meet certain commitments, things that I was planning to do. I couldn't keep the momentum up to continue planning that and keeping that going. I did manage to keep up with the House of Free Will. I don't think I missed a single meeting in the House of Free Will. Somehow it was an anchor for me, actually, to just stay a little bit with some normal life. Another thing that I did to anchor myself in normal life was go to the farm. So there I am at the farm, and they don't expect anything of me. They know I'm injured. They're not like, oh, Beth, you're not working hard enough. But I just went to be, normal and with some friends and some friendly people. Oh, slow down. You think polyphagus? I mean, slow down. Yeah, speed is a terrible disease, actually, can be, depending on where it comes from. And so then I'm actually feeling really good and really happy, and the sun is shining, and they're pulling potatoes. So I'm like, I can go and maybe let's just see, can I pull a few potatoes? And the ground was loose and it's lovely, and we're all sitting and chatting and enjoying pulling these potatoes out. And then I tug a little bit on one plant, and my back went completely out. My back doesn't go out. I don't have a back that goes out. It hadn't gone out for 16 years since my son was 2, and I carried him too much, and my back gave way. And then all of a sudden, I can't walk, I can't sit down, I can't stand up, and they literally had to carry me off the garden and drive me home. And then for the next, I don't know, 24 hours, I thought I wasn't going to be able to move again. Like, just rolling over in bed was too painful. Getting out of bed, and then I just said to myself, you know what? I don't care if it's painful. I am going to force myself to move. And I think that was part of what helped it to heal incredibly quickly. I kept making myself walk just around, and not fast. It was just, just move, Beth, because otherwise it seemed like laying here was going to be like the death of me. And so I did that, and then I would say 36 hours into the whole kind of thing, all of a sudden I went from like 100% feeling injured to 80% better. And it was like, oh my goodness, what the heck? I'm just using some magnesium, and I'm walking, and then it was like, wow, I was so impressed. And I actually ended up telling Garrett about it. He said it sounds like a retracing. So if you're not familiar with the healing process, it can include retracing, which I think a lot of people do misinterpret what that means. Like they get sick and they're detoxing and they call it retracing, but it's not actually retracing. And I think this is my very first real retracing experience, because the sign of it is that an old injury, which I did have 16 years ago, comes up in full force. It has a lot of volume and intensity, and then it heals uber quick. So it's coming, it just, finished the job. And then after that, it took me maybe another 3-4 days, 100% better, 100%, literally no sign of it. Amazing, right? And I noticed that I could sit straight much more easily. So that was a beautiful healing. That was so good. Retracing is real. Anonymous guest, exactly. And yeah, so challenging. I actually thank God that Canada does MAID, the medically assisted dying. I thought, okay, well, if my independence is over, I ain't sticking around. Right. Like, cause this is, I don't know if I'd change my mind, but that was one of my first thoughts. And, yeah, that's, what is it? Polyvegas, what is that retracing? It's your body heals in layers. And this is true in a physical capacity. And it's true very much in the mental, emotional, and spiritual capacity. We store in layers. Someone used the metaphor the other day of phyllo pastry, that it's on top of each other. Your liver's the same, right? When it lets go of things. And hello, Mr. Biocharisma, Topher Gardner. Nice to see you. I so loved your interview with Garrett. It was fantastic. That was like amazing, by the way. And then so yeah, these layers of unhealed material, they're just waiting for their chance. And it's often a sign of healing that you're allowing more toxicity to come up. When it's spiritual, it's more like going to be your feelings, or through your emotions, you might create circumstances in your life, or circumstances like shit just happens. It does. I don't believe everything is somehow necessarily tied to meaning at all, although we give it meaning. And then it's like, oh, my turn. I'm going to come up from your liver. I'm going to come up from the depths of your unconscious. And it seems like a bad thing, but you start training yourself over time to recognize, oh, this is just the next thing. And you see some you see the progress. It can sound like it's very defeating, and it can at times feel like that. But as long as you don't say to yourself these words, oh, it came back, right? It didn't come back. If you truly healed any part of it, it's let go. It's gone, right? It's dealt with, physical or spiritual. And but new layers come up. So rather than saying, oh, I had this pain and then it went away and then it came back, it's not like that. And that can definitely get you into a place of feeling like you have that you can't win, which is a program, by the way. And Snap BioC into house. I know, I'm honored. And Tammy Thomas is here. So great to see you. Miss M, I still have to meet you. Nice to have you here. And Chris and you guys know each other. That's awesome. Very good. So then I healed my back, and I've still, this hand, the right hand, healed very, very amazing. But if you got a chance to look closely at the finger, it's mangled. The medicine usually causes your body to heal like all the way, and it didn't. But maybe it's still in process, and it's still a little raw. So it looks weird, but I'll take it. That medicine works. So if you guys have growths, don't take it lightly about this. But if you want a reference to that Black Amazon cream or a link, I don't mind. They were amazing, by the way. So much support. You could call them. They would call you back. They wanted to know. They wanted to see pictures because, of course, that's their whole work. And it does work for most people, which is why they got kicked out of doing business in the US. They had to do it out of South America or wherever they are, but their website still they'll mail things to the US and to Canada. So you'd like that link? Yeah. Let me see if I could. I probably won't be able to find it right at this moment, but could you message me on Telegram or on like really anywhere? Just message me, Beth@bethmartins.com. And please ask. I would pass that on. And you'd like to learn about it too. Yeah, it's worth knowing about. And you got to just have a lot of respect for it. That's the thing. Oh, look at this. I'm not on Rumble. That sucks. I set Rumble up and then I didn't. Oh well, we'll have to upload that later. So that was really good. And I'm still waiting for this guy to come along. This has been forever. I was wanting to look back in my pictures and see how long ago did I do this. It's been forever. There were times when I'm like, oh my God, did I lose the finger? Did I I took it too far, and it is pretty numb. I don't feel anymore on the left side. So that's a little bit crazy. I obviously killed some nerves along the way. And I don't know. I can't find it. I won't find a date, but it's been a long time. It's kind of the whole summer. I lost control of my garden. It went absolutely to weeds. I ended up having to hire someone to come, and I was too specific about what they should pull out because I had the greed of the lover that I wanted him to leave all the wildflowers. They were like, wow, just crazy. So he left that and the grass, and then the grass took over. If you don't know anything about grass, I bet you guys do. Grassroots are very well named, and they travel and expand and take over the whole world. Even though I had covered that garden with straw, it didn't keep it down. So I'm like, I can't go and weed. I just can't. And but it's coming back now. Now I can. Now I actually want to, which is kind of funny. And we're probably in the last 12 seconds of maybe the last nice day of our season, but we'll see how that goes. There might be some more time. And rewiring may happen. Yep. You order stuff from South America and Canada because US is, well, right. But interesting that you order from Canada because I order a lot from the US. In fact, that's why we're taking our trip. The first reason is to go and get the stuff we can't get because our stores were carrying, like our Costco, for example, that I fell in love with after post-pandemic again. And people aren't smart enough to buy the good things because they'll bring the good things, but our people aren't smart enough to buy them. So then they take it away. They let it go. And so yeah, there's a lot more. Like I can't get any organic avocado oil, which is low vitamin A, one of the few fats I use a little bit of just for cooking. and I can't get it anywhere organic here in this country. So we're going to get it from the US. And our postal system is on strike, so I couldn't get some of Garrett's products, which I do recommend. He has great magnesium is the one main thing that I've used. His magnesium lotion is really good. And then some other things. So we like the US better, just by far. Is avocado oil refined? I don't think it's refined, no, but when you look into the nutritional breakdown of it, it doesn't have vitamin A. Avocados do. Avocados are high in vitamin A and copper. And is it vitamin A in avocados? And for sure copper. But and then the fat, but the oil, it is one of the better ones. So would also be olive oil if you could find it refined. But good luck with that. I looked high and low everywhere to find a good organic refined olive oil, and it's just like, let it go, Beth. And I didn't love that stuff that much anyway. And Play Vegas says, you have very little grass here. You grow it for your cat. Oh, that's very nice. Right on. Yeah, cats couldn't eat this much grass, I tell you. They seem to be waging war on the natural things. Yeah, that's ongoing, which is kind of a, what do you call it? Like a theater show. Because when they wage war on the natural things, they know that in general, on the whole, they're just as dangerous as the medical things are. Now, in this case, it genuinely helps people, and that's why they had to run them out of the country. And you need to look in the US closer. Hate to miss out. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so then that brings me kind of to the present. And when all the healing was happening and it seemed much more hopeful and I'm no longer considering MAID, then it was like, okay, well, what now, God? My life stopped in a way. Here's something I was going to throw in. I have no idea if this is truly attributed to Confucius or not, but I used to quote this on one of my mermaid memes that when in doubt or when in crisis or when in whatever, I'm preempting the quote, it's don't quit, go slow. And I find this to be fabulous advice, because every time, if every time something gets hard or doesn't go your way, or like, is it complete disaster or unexpected things, plot twists, if you allow it to cause you to quit, then you're setting yourself up for all kinds of trouble. This, for example, can be a nurture or shadow, where you gave and you gave and you helped and you did stuff and you looked after people, and then all of a sudden you're broken and you're down. And then you go, their reaction, their pendulum swing reaction that I talked about, and I have a training about, by the way, if anyone wants to hear it, they say like, I quit. It's over. I'm not helping anyone ever again. Get away. Like this. And then so they quit being the helper that they were. And then they lick their wounds, and eventually they're going to heal, and they're going to come around to go like, oh, wow, I'm a natural born helper and I want to help. And then getting back from a complete stop, a complete abandonment of your purpose, getting going is very difficult. The best metaphor being that, a bicycle, if it's already moving, then it's very easy to keep it moving, almost effortless, right? Depending on how fast you want to go. But and we know this when you come to red lights and you have to full stop on a bicycle, it kind of sucks, because then you're going to have to start all over again and get the speed up and use some strength like that, which is just a metaphor for in your life what can be wasted time and wasted energy. So this is some great advice that maybe came from Confucius, who said, never quit, just go slow. And when you do that, you keep your hand in things, you keep the thread. Even if the thread gets very thin, it doesn't matter. It's a thread, right? And threads are something you can follow, which I find very, very useful, especially when you feel lost, which is one of the themes I'm definitely going to talk about today. And hello, Mr. Cyrus. Nice to see you here. And you said that's yourself, often am to go slow. didn't know a big icon said that. Yeah, it could be false, right? So many quotes are attributed wrongly on the internet, and I didn't go deep looking to prove that one. And yeah, beef can get pretty crazy expensive. I'm in the process now of getting my courage up to ask the farmers that we get our meats from. That is very expensive too, and I don't begrudge them. It should be less expensive getting it straight from the farmer, but whatever, that's okay. It promises to be higher quality. But now I'm getting my courage up to ask if they use things like ivermectin on them, because I have a feeling it's very, very common. And just because they're a local farmer doesn't mean that they are in the know about that dangerous infertility drug. So yeah. So has anyone got brave and asked their farmers about what drugs they use? And that's yeah. Do I want to know? I seem to be doing okay. It is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. It seems good. It's the freshest meat you could ever have, even though I end up just freezing it for 3 or 4 years while I'm eating my preps. And don't do it, Beth. You'll end up a vegetarian. Very good advice, Em. See, this is I needed that. I needed to hear that. Exactly. And Chris, you have to go slow or you get clumsy. Yeah, let's talk about slow for a little while. Slow is interesting. I definitely have an aversion to slow. Why? Because I can go fast, but I have learned a very big lesson. Don't go fast when you have sharp things. Oh my goodness, there was actually another incident. So I had gone I always lust for apples in the fall here. I lust for them because they are growing locally, and they come and they go. They're now you see it, now you don't, and there's massive variety, and nobody sells them because everybody has them. Everybody has an apple tree, and so you have to do your detective work and go looking. Where are the apples? Where are the apples? So I did find a couple of sources, and I thought I just got a few, but no, I got quite a big bag that barely fit in the fridge. And they had been sitting there while I'm bleeding out and trying to recover from my hands. And so I was sitting watching Garrett's podcast one day, and I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to dehydrate the rest of the apples. I'm just going to do this. I can do this. I went and I shopped for a brand new peeler. Mistake, I tell you, because the other one rusted out. And I'm peeling an apple with my two fingers, trying to protect the third, and then I sliced off the very tip of the pinky finger with that new peeler, which turned out to be very, very sharp. So the moral of the story is, when you're handling sharp things, go slow. Who needs to teach me this? It's like, oh man. And I was already going slow. I thought I was going as slow as I can. And there I am, like bleeding out again. This was the fastest to heal. It was the least serious of all, though, it took me down to 2 fingers on one hand. Slow's not in your wheelhouse either. You have to catch yourself and readjust. Yeah. And it's usually something that happens that slows me down, and I need to really inject that. I'm saying this out loud to have some accountability, that I need to just simply slow myself down and do that on purpose, even when nothing is wrong. When nothing's slowing me down, I need to slow down. And it's just so fun. And I have to say that this is turning into a little bit of a Love Your Liver episode. I think every single one of them is probably going to have some, but MSG, shout out to MSG. That stuff, oh my goodness. The most profound benefit that I get from having a little pinch every single day, because that's all I can handle, is greater mental acuity. And with greater mental acuity, greater focus, I can go even faster. Right? I can be even more dangerous with sharp things. So yeah, MSG, shout out to MSG. I'm going to lay off because it ramps up detox. You got to be very respectful of it. And lamb is high in copper. Good to know, Achille. I did not know that, and I will pass that on. I wonder if there's what do they call it? Garrett talks about, is the lemon juice worth the squeeze? And so is there, because of the high quality meat and potentially high zinc also, because red meat tends to be high in zinc, is it worth it? Like a source of copper that is worth consuming. Now, hearing that, I don't want to eat lamb, and I intuitively just have never got lamb. I think I have a farmer that could get me. I think it was like a whole lamb, or I had to go a halfer on a lamb or something like that. But good to know. Yeah, I appreciate hearing that. Exactly. Hello, Jackie K. Nice to see you. She said, farmers you've encountered tend to, as they're told by the authorities, sadly. Also, right, they can make them treat them with drugs. That's right. Exactly. I have a good friend, shout out to her. I don't know if she'll hear this at all, but she lost a bunch of birds this year. And it's tragic, right? Because they spend a lot of time and energy and money. I know she travels to buy the eggs or the babies. And then most of them are gone, and it's a disease. And then they tried the drugs, but they didn't even work. So that's terrible. I believe, you know what? I think animals are like us in that they are getting more and more liver damaged by the generation, right? Because you can only be as healthy as your parent, and you're going to inherit toxicity. That's why we're in trouble. That's why we have to make such incredibly what do you call it? We have to, like, it matters that the water is not from the spring. It's distilled spring water. I actually distill my spring water, which seems stupid, but it is the perfect water. And a lot of people in the past, in generations, they could get away with well waters and spring waters and all of that kind of thing. But it matters now, right? To get that little bit more poison, little bit more poison, little bit more poison in every glass of water. It's like, it's not worth it. I would rather drink the pure distilled water. And yeah, you just have to buy the best beef you can get at the store. Yeah, and you don't want to apply perfectionism to the process, because that's a poison of its own, right? That's a definite program. You will suffer with that one, and sometimes you might suffer more than you would with just like gratefully receiving, okay, I can get this good. We're going to be away for a few days. We're only going to have access to like shitty food, and then so that's how it goes. I'm not going to go, oh, poison. But anyway, I'm not going to fear it. It's just not worth it. So yeah, stay away from the mandolin. Are they sharp? Mandolins? Are they like little razor strings? Okay, good advice. I won't go near that. And Fingers McGee. Oh, interesting. Yeah, nickname. That's funny. Yeah. Garrett nicknamed my finger Alien Nubby. That was like, I was a little irked at first. It's not very flattering, but kind of fit. And I've missed what the 100% was about. You don't like lamb? Maybe that's why. Exactly. Compliments to Anne Louise Gettleman. I'm not sure who that is. Drinking an OSA lemon pyroglutamate glucose sucrose drink right now. What the heck is OSA? I recognize everything else. I believe I ended up buying pyroglutamate. So that's good to know. I'd love to hear how you use it. Right now I'm just using MSG and what the difference would be. Lamb smells funny. There you go. That might be the copper smells. Have you ever noticed that? Copper, especially like coming out of your body and stuff, it smells. It's very distinct. I recognize it now. Yeah. And that's what caused BSE. BSE, I don't know what that is. Gittleman, not sure. And if it tastes coppery, then I think that means it is. Yeah. If it tastes like metal and it smells like metal, then it must be metal. And some things taste metallic. So yeah, I mean, especially if you're tasting that metallic, I would take that as a sign. So yes, very sharp. And is it orthosilicic acid? Orthosilicic. Interesting. Never heard of that. OSA. Well, thanks for, I don't know. Yeah. Dr. Gittleman introduced the problem with copper. introduce like exposed copper toxicity, that copper is a poison. That would be cool. I never heard of him. That's good. Oh yeah, silica. Thank you. Silica. And you're curious about the MSG. By the way, I'm going to do I'll do a third episode on the got poison theme. And this one is going to be called Got Poisoned. Because can anyone not relate to that? Got poisoned, got poisoned. Hey, we should start a hashtag, got poisoned by all this and by all that. And with MSG, what's the good of it? Yeah, it is. It's a neurotransmitter that we need for our brain, of course. And glutamate, our body desperately makes if it can't get it in the food in order to complete detox processes. I don't know about like start or finish or anything like that, but it's an important part of your diet. We are starving for it. There was one time when I was in the experimental group with MSG some weeks before they came out with it, and I remember one night I went to grab a pinch of it and put it on my food. I started crying because I realized how starving I was for that stuff. Like starving. My body was going, oh, please, Beth, it's been too long. And that's why people get addicted to high glutamate foods, which can be meat has glutamate, and potatoes and tomatoes and cheese. And, a lot of those foods that end up in our fast food, Garrett points out how, why do we get so addicted? Why do they use those foods? Because we actually want them. Now they have all kinds of other problems. And so you don't want cheese. You don't want, what did I talk about? You don't want potatoes every day. Sometimes are fine. But how much? And yeah, so Garrett has an entire 2.5 hour live stream dedicated to MSG. I highly recommend that. I need to re-listen because there's so much stuff in there I'd like to know more particularly. And why is it good? It's a neurotransmitter. It keeps the brain going. That's one of the reasons that it's resulting in greater mental acuity with me. Also, I started remembering my dreams, which hadn't happened for a long time. And like suddenly, so that's a sign of a better working brain as far as I'm concerned. And how much daily, I do one pinch on one meal. I would love to have more because it tastes fantastic. But I noticed that it does ramp up detox like almost everything. And so I have to be judicious with it, and I'll pass on it a few days, like today and maybe a few more days. I'll pass on it because I'm getting myself all ramped up. And she coined Copperhead. Aha, there you go. Good. Okay, that was the mystery solved. And well, look at you. It was just a personal intuitive thing using it. So you used it and it was intuitive. There you go. That's fun. Isn't that fun when you make decisions intuitively and they turn out to be just right? It's not always the case. It can go the other way, but it's really fun when it does work. Chris said he's been remembering his dreams a lot in the last 7 months on the IVA diet. IVA. Sorry, I'm not good at that. And probably Vegas said your brother's got on your mom's case for having MSG in the house. Interesting. And my sisters were all vegetarian for years and decades, off and on. Interesting. So your brother was, your mom was smart. Your mom was smart. Good for her. That's amazing. And you eat meat, but not often. The cashews being high in copper bums you out. It was 1/3 of what you ate daily. Oh, okay. Yeah. You will thank yourself a lot for not having those. They're wrong. The only nut that's low in copper is macadamia nuts. And I really tested the limits with those macadamia nuts. I can't handle a lot of them. If I'm going to have them, it would be just a small amount every day. I had to just walk away, Beth, because they taste so good. They're amazing. I am hoping to score some organic ones in the US. And I still eat a few Brazil nuts, like 6 at the very most per day for selenium. But cashews are bad and wrong, unfortunately. And you've been dreaming and remembering them a lot. That's so good. I already said that. And low vitamin A. Okay, got it. IVA, LVA. Got it. Excellent. Someone called my last stream GLP, and then I'm like, oh, got low poison. Love Your Liver live stream. Let's see, anonymous guest said 212 MSG is good for you and your liver MSG testimonials. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So if you go to Garrett's channel and he has his own little search bar at the bottom, like everybody does, and then you can just put in 212 or MSG and that will come up. Definitely worth spending time on. I need to go back a few times. Again, shout out to Topher's interview with Garrett. It was fantastic. I feel like Garrett is next level now in his ability to explain toxic bile theory. He's been practicing trying to condense it just because it's a massive explanation. It's not a little thing. You have to learn in this path. And it was really good. I was pleased. I need to rewatch that one as well. Although I couldn't see Garrett at all. I'm not sure if that was on every version of it, but I only saw Topher, which is good too. And let's see, Jackie is asking, what are my copper symptoms? Okay, so I'll talk about copper symptoms, and then we'll save the rest for got poisoned 3. So there's just a ton of stuff. Starting with tinnitus, my ears ring like crazy. I believe a lot of insomnia that I've had in my life, like tons and tons of insomnia, is so sad that I didn't know this earlier, was due to copper, because it keeps you wired, tired, doesn't let you sleep. When I'm dumping copper, that's when I will have some trouble sleeping, and can be jaw tension. I used to grind my teeth at night. Pretty sure that was all copper. I don't do that anymore. That's amazing. I get bitey. It's kind of a weird thing. I know that's not a word, but I get bitey. I want to bite something. And it could be, there were times where I would bite my cuticles. Maybe that caused some trouble. I would bite the insides of my cheeks, as stress ramped up, but that's usually when you're dumping copper. And I don't do that anymore, which is amazing. I didn't think I could ever stop doing that, and I did. So that's great. I also get skin eruptions, and it could be, I had shingles very, very, very bad, to a point of hospitalization, and I've had recurrences of that, which Garrett says is just toxicity. There's no virus whatsoever that he can trace. And that could also be mercury related. And I had a bunch of mercury taken out of my mouth this year, and both last year and this year. So I had 7 fillings removed, and that's a whole lot of mercury to let off into your system, even though they go out of their way to not have that happen. But so those are my main copper symptoms. And MSG makes stuff taste like magic. I know it does. It's like, I was reading a great testimonial. It was from Garrett's stream this week, and I was reading it on line as well. And they said that, like, there were all kinds of foods that they didn't want to eat anymore, and they just just don't want to eat. But sprinkle a little MSG on there, and he's all for it now. It's delicious for a reason, because we need it. We actually need it. It's not just that it's okay. It's a need. And we have been denied. So, yeah, good old psyops. So horrible sleep interruptions when copper dumps finally got better after adding glutamate 5 months ago. That's fantastic. No longer having issues. If interrupted, you can go back to sleep immediately. And this is exactly where I've come to over the course of the Love Your Liver year, that I now sleep. It's a miracle. I slept 7 hours in a row last night. That's like, wow. And I tried to go back to sleep after that. I ended up just laying there, but maybe I had enough rest. I don't know. I wanted to rest up for a trip. And for years, you were woken by anything that I was simply up again. Yeah, right. Exactly. If you were woken up, exactly. You should see what happened to people who tried to wake me up. Try to wake up an insomniac. Ooh, you better head for the hills, because that's dangerous stuff. It can be like, oh, really? You woke me up? I was asleep. Did you know it? I was sleeping. Anyway, yeah, you realize how many high copper foods you were unknowingly eating. I know all of them. For me, it was I was gobbing out on it, literally. And you suspect you're copper toxic. You used to eat nuts by the bagful. Right. Yeah, nuts are massive. And that's what happens when I go too fast, is that I start looking for fast food, and nuts appear to be a good source. And they told us, oh, it's a good source of protein. No, it's a source of fat, which, is a place to store toxins, it turns out, and then a source of copper. So yeah, I regret all those nuts and seeds that I would just live on some days. So let's see where we're at. I definitely wanted to talk about a few of these things also. When it comes to new beginnings and plot twists, can you guys guess which archetype it is? Out of the 8 archetypes, I mean, you don't have to limit yourself to the 8 archetypes. When it comes to new beginnings, what would you expect? You might have to know my system that I write about. There's 8 primary archetypes on the hero's journey as I found it inside myself. Doesn't mean everybody is going to find it exactly the same way, although I've had incredible consistency in the reportings of people that I work with, that they also find it, oh, interesting, nurturer. Why would you say new beginnings would be about the nurturer? Now, it's possible that every archetype could have their version of a new beginning. So you might very well be right. Planting seeds. Oh, fascinating. I love your leap of logic there. So that's really cool. And planting seeds could be the nurturer and could also be another archetype. So I'll let you guys guess just for fun a little bit. And I was going to talk about expectations, because those are things that you usually don't know you have until, and this brings about plot twists. You don't know you have expectations, and you don't know you're hiding your expectations until they are not met, until you're let down, your expectations fall. And is explorer an archetype? Yeah, you can consider explorer an archetype. Absolutely. Could be very close to the hero itself or the adventurer, which is not on my map directly. That's not true. That it probably is on my map, because I made a very broad map, huge map, a kind of catch-all map. So in my archetypes, it's possible the one I'm talking about could fall under that. And you don't know my system. Is a bird involved? Are there any birds in my system? Not that I'm aware of, but I do think right to the alchemist that has a bird's eye view. That's where, when I searched my database for bird, that's what I came up with. And adventure is your guess. Okay, any other guesses? So I'll name all of the archetypes. I'll give you guys half a chance. So the first one is the child, and then the rebel, and the warrior, and the nurturer, someone guessed already, and the lover, and the hedonist, and the king, and the alchemist. So of those 8 archetypes, which one do you think most embodies new beginnings, plot twists, big changes? And yeah, so expectations, you don't know you have them. Have you had that experience? You literally, oh, yeah, there you go. Chris got it. It is the child. Exactly. So that's a signature experience of the child archetype, is new beginnings. And so when you get signs of being in the child archetype, which will go through our whole entire life, doesn't matter how old you are, then you can know that you're at the beginning again. And so some of the signs of being at the beginning again could be that your expectations got blown, that what you thought was happening or you thought was real is not happening, and it's not real, or it's over already. Yeah. And you think, yeah, it's not the alchemist, but you're not that far off, because the alchemist, while it appears to be at the end of the journey, given the fact that it is a spiral, that means that the alchemist is just before the child. So not unrelated. There's always a relationship between archetypes that are especially next to each other on the journey, because they lead naturally to each other. And then, yep, the child is one of the signature shadows of the child is feeling lost, right? And so when you're lost, you need to find yourself, and you need to get to the beginning again. And I think I told this story recently, that we got lost in a trip to another road trip. We won't get lost today. Going to Minneapolis, and I had two guys in the back, maybe 12 or 13 years old. One of my son's friend along with us and friends. And so I got miserably lost. My phone failed. I wasn't able to roam. So we had no GPS whatsoever. We're on the freeways going like as high speed, speaking of speed, as you could possibly go. And I did being a Scorpio, I did want to kill myself. I thought there's no way out of this. We're just going to have to run out of gas and be in the middle of the freeway and it's going to be over. Take a gun to my head or something, which I didn't have. But because I had children, I decided against that option. I thought, okay, that won't work for this time. And what we were able to do, we managed to make our way back to where we began, not to where we were going, but to where we began. And when we got back to where we began, we hired a taxi to guide us to where we were going. So that was like a crazy experience of being lost. And it does make you feel like a child. And it makes you feel like you have no bearings, which is extremely difficult for someone who might be an elder or might, have a lot of experience of some kind or a lot of accomplishments in their life. Because when they hit the beginning, what are they going to do with that feeling of being, that signature feeling of being lost and at the beginning again? They're going to suppress it. They're going to deny it. They might judge themselves for having it, which causes them to suppress and deny it. And this is one of my missions, to make accomplished people like King Heroes be okay with their new beginnings. And they often have them too, because, the bigger you live, the bigger you have to lose. It's just a fact. And you hate being stuck on the freeway like that. I know it was a nightmare. We now go out of our way. Our very first thing when we cross that US border is to figure out the SIM cards and get the GPS up and running now. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Reminds you of John in the Wilderness. I don't know that book, but that seems like a good one. Child Makes Sense. Love the guessing game. Oh, that's good. It's fun for me. I love having you guys here and interacting. This is wonderful for me as well. And city driving gives you anxiety more. Yeah, I learned to love the freeways actually because they're so fast, and we have traffic psyop here, so they make even a fast road go slow one way or another. I was on the perimeter the other day going for a meat order in the country at an undisclosed location, and I got to drive the whole way without any construction. It was just like going the full speed, and I'm so high and happy. I'm like, wow. Small things take for granted. And so that child, some of the other signature experiences can be, in addition to feeling lost, can be confused, right? When you're lost, you're confused and you can't figure it out, and you can't, nothing makes sense anymore. It used to make sense. Like 5 minutes ago, it made sense, and now it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. So that's very difficult of a shadow to deal with. And the big kickers are the fear of betrayal or the actual betrayals that takes place mostly in relationships. But we can very much be our own betrayer. We can be a betrayer of our own life, our own purpose of God. And we betray each other on a regular basis. I was complaining about this earlier, actually doing some inner work around it, even more than complaining. But this happens to me. Like, I've been recently betrayed by an accountant who goes dark, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll be right there in 5 minutes," and then it's 6 weeks and I haven't heard, or I'll ask for something, and "Oh yeah, I'll get that to you right away," and it's just, or it eventually I realize I've been betrayed, even though he's not evil. I know that it's not like that, but the child in me innocently goes like, "But I just asked for the thing and you said you do the thing, and then I'm like paying you to do the thing, and then you didn't do it." And it was, so I feel betrayed, and I feel, anything judgmental, even hateful. Hello, Artisy, you're nice to see you. And another one of the major big signature experiences that goes right along with that betrayal is the fear of, or the actual experience of, being abandoned. So that's a really big one. The child, and was anybody raised with this, like, keep up or we'll leave you behind, or do the right thing or we'll leave you behind, or some version of that, the threat of abandonment as a way to control and bring about compliance. So that definitely contributes. It's really easy to leave a child behind. It's really painfully easy. It's no little thing. I know a of an old friend I haven't seen for a long time, and she was part of a very, very big family, and they actually did periodically lose her, because when you got, I don't know, 8 or 9 brothers and sisters, it's hard to keep track of all of those little ones. And or there was one time when they left, they got her, but they didn't get her shoes. So, and that left a kind of scar on her. It's a sort of like abandoned the shoes, and imagine that they abandoned themselves. So between all of those shadows, this child, this new beginning, it's pretty. Now here's another signature experience that comes with the child, is overwhelm. And this is something that our controllers love us to be in the child. They will go out of their way to put us in the child archetype. To, like, if it's a snakes and ladders game, it's a snake down to the bottom, or I consider it a spider with a spiral, which snakes do coil. And so they love to have you confused and lost and overwhelmed, where it's just always having to troubleshoot the crap that's coming down, the psyop of the week, the just things that make no sense, that you can't logic and reason through what's happening. When they told you, like, oh, masks don't work for protecting you from disease, and oh, everybody should mask, like this, right? So that's exactly how they got us into the child. They put stickers on the floor. They wagged their fingers at us and said, go home, like this. It was all like dripping in child energy. And to me, that was absolutely on purpose. And what happened to a lot of people, they actually turned into children. They acted like children. They're like, oh, mommy, what should I do? Right? Just tell me what to do. Oh, where should I put that poison injection? Right here? All right. Okay. Just give me more. Right? And conform or be cast out, Chris. Exactly. So that overwhelm, that's a tricky one, because when you get overwhelmed, it's, that can escalate and lead to total breakdown. So, but if you can catch the signature experiences of one or any archetype, then you're in a pattern. You're in an archetypal pattern. It's not, you didn't make it up. It's not new based on what's happening in your life right now. It's not actually totally related to the circumstances, but neither do you want to ignore the circumstances. But if you can recognize that signature feeling, and then you can recognize that archetype, and you can go even deeper to find the root and how it's programmed, how the pattern is programmed in the unconscious, so that it goes on repeat in a way that doesn't serve you, then you found gold, right? So that's why noticing the shadows are everything. Did I say noticing the shadows? Noticing the patterns is going to lead you to be able to let the shadows go. So 2 hockey sticks apart, you walk the opposite way than the arrows. I know. See? Well, this is fascinating, because guess which archetype is on the heels of the child? The next one, right? When the child wakes up out of, another major shadow of the child, by the way, is denial. And like, oh, it's okay. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It's all right. Oh, he yelled at me to jump back onto the stickers. That's okay. I'll just, I'll just muzzle myself for this time. That's okay. I don't need to breathe all the time. Right? Just go into denial. And so when the child allows themselves to wake up from there, then it moves forward. And you start, instead of just going into denial about reality, you might get up in arms about reality, and you might suddenly be mad and not just alrighty, like this, right? And this is exactly the archetype. So both M and Polly are ahead of me here. It is the rebel that's next. And what I noticed is that the rebel and the child have a kind of figure eight. So they should be on the spiral of the hero's journey and go up, maybe down. The purpose is not to ascend. I won't get on my soapbox about that subject today. I do have a whole entire training at my website. You can sign up for free to do the myths of ascension. Busting ascension myths is what it's called. And so this child rebel thing turned out that was by design too, because they knew there was a certain amount of the population that would get lost in the child and lay at home in their pajamas and just be confused and be okay with that and go into denial and suffer in silence. And then there were going to be those of us, I'll say, that are like, what is going on? This is wrong. This can't happen. It must be illegal. And they start fighting and they start railing and they start demonstrating. And so they knew that. And they want us to do that, right? They want us to be the child, and they want us to be, more accurately, they want us to be the shadow child. They want us to be the shadow rebel. They have no control over those archetypes. They just can use them and wield them and park in your consciousness. So they saw us coming and they prepared a very big plan for us, just as big a plan for the rebels as they had planned for those that were in the child. So yeah, that's very interesting. You've realized you are a shadow nurturer, been very, very helpful in dealing with it, to just recognize it. Amazing. Yeah, I used to say, and I'm not sure if it's entirely true, but seeing a shadow is like half the release or half the work, because you can't release what you can't see, what you're in denial of. And so it's really good to recognize the nurturer is a very big Achilles heel. I find it to be incredibly common in my people, the people that are around me, of course, in me and around me. And people get themselves into a ton of trouble with that nurturer. I do have a bunch of interviews. I think I must have done like 5 or 6 interviews in a row on the nurturer at the time around when I was offering the Getting Off the Nurturer's Pendulum Swing training, that people go from helping everyone to helping no one because they burn out, like I was talking about earlier. And there's an entire course on the nurturer that is ready to be done right now. So you could go, and I'm not sure if there's a button at this moment, if that's true or not. I might be in denial, but it is ready to go, because all of the materials that we did in the live class were recorded and all the handouts are there. And I believe there's a workbook, and it's super helpful. I had so many people have breakthroughs about the nurturer in that course. So it's super good. And you were not compliant, Polyvegas. You made painted rocks and stickers with "compliance is not a virtue" on them and left them around town. Nice. I like that. See how that, and this is not a takedown in any way, but see how that's actually it looks like a marriage between the child and the rebel, right? You're expressing both, because who paints on rocks and stickers, right? That's more of a childlike kind of a thing, which is not wrong. To have fun like a child, nothing wrong with that. And then to make a rebel message with your childlike painting and stickering is a good marriage of those two. Yeah, both, exactly. And yes, you go through many archetypes over time that we're traveling the hero's journey. It's not fixed. There might be certain things fixed. People do have archetypes of origin that don't seem to go away, that you can trace in your life. If you go back, you can see it's been a continuous thread. And then there are other archetypes that might come up more periodically or circumstantially. They're all available to us, and they'll come forward at different times. Like, I wouldn't have identified myself with a mother archetype, but all of a sudden I wanted to have a baby at 38 years old. And then my mother came up really strong. Like, of course, I needed that in order to, which is a version of the nurturer, by the way. And then when my son got so independent and He's just incredibly independent. That guy, he really doesn't need me for much of anything since he was 11. And yeah, so then that fades away. Although I did, it was interesting after my last coaching training finished. There were more than a few people who referred to me as a mother. And darn it, I'm getting an important phone call, but I will call them back. That's okay. Yeah, it's only 3:14, so we're good. That's the border calling me right there. It's a great service. And the playful rebel. Yeah, exactly. That can't go wrong. And let's see, where would we go from here? See what else? The trepidations of new beginnings, because that's the first thing that happens when you're facing a new beginning. And what do you try to do? Stave off the new beginning at all cost. And that's why people stay in the relationship long after it's over, or they they don't change their work long after they've been completely disillusioned or frustrated by it, but they just stay and they keep staying and they stay and they stay and they stay. I doubt anybody could claim they don't have something in their life where they staved off the beginning that was waiting for them. And it's it's a real thing, the fear of losing everything. And somehow I keep giving myself experiences of that in my life where I perceive myself to lose everything. It's really funny when you come out the other side, because I didn't lose everything. Here I am, right? Didn't lose the guitars, didn't lose the tree, the mic's still here, my body's still here. I still have like glasses, I can still see. I'm a 3-finger typer, but that will change kind of soon. So that the fear is basically of the unknown. That was one of the big themes. I will carry some of the themes forward from what I anticipated to be the yin on the rocks here. And fingers still here, exactly, exactly. And that the any kind of new beginning, it means that it's blank, right? You might have certain imaginations about it. You might have certain visions of it, which I'm going to be talking about so much, by the way. And but you don't have any clue, and you don't have any clue. It's like walking off a plank. There's or walking into a thick fog, and you just have no idea what you're going to face. It could be that happy thing that you maybe expect and want, or it could go badly, and it could be a complete disaster. And there was a time where I thought, oh, I only have disasters now. I just have one disaster after another, and things, when you think they can't fall apart any more than they have, there it goes, right? Never say this couldn't get worse. Never ever say this couldn't get worse, because it can always, always, always get worse. And so then, yeah, you have to contend with all of your imaginations. I teach a tool called worst case scenario in my work that helps you to go much quicker through that process, rather than have to wait the year or the 2 years or the 10 years or worse to make that move to the new beginning, to allow something to end so something new could actually start again in the child archetype. And so it's no little thing, but if you actually deal with it head on and you go into it, not having to be forced into it, then it's better. Okay, I'm going to get this call because they're trying really hard. Forgive me 1 second. I'm just going to mute my mic. My apologies. That's very rude. I don't like doing that, but they called twice, so they're It's the parcel service. It's a really good thing. You drive to the border, across the border, and then there's a teeny little store waiting there. And they even have an off hours thing where you can just go punch a code. You go in, and it's the honor system. You only take your stuff. I was joking that, like, how do they know we're not going to take everybody else's stuff, which I wouldn't do, but you could. So it's fun to have it be just a tiny little business. They answer the phone. They call me. That's really cool. I like that. And you'll tell jokes. Why does a bald man have no use for keys? He lost his locks. Very good. Thank you for holding down the fort over here. I appreciate it. All right. So yeah, facing the new things and the trepidation and that fear. And, sometimes people will say, oh, your fear is always going to tell you that it's way worse than you could imagine. But I've had experiences where it was way worse than I could have imagined. And I try to stay optimistic, and it's like, oh no, that was way worse than I could have imagined. Way worse. So it can work both ways, and it's real. And the beauty of that kind of trepidation of facing a new beginning, if you're trying to stave one off, is that it holds a lot of potential. It holds a lot of, and what does that mean? It means energy. When you talk about potential in electricity, it's the potential for power. And so that's the mental flip that you can do. This is just mindset, and it goes a certain distance, but doesn't go all the way. Still helpful to see that every trepidation, every fear, facing the unknown, the difficulty in that, it's your chance to reclaim lost power. And so it's worth it, because the fact is that if you don't yourself cooperate with change, then inevitably circumstances come up to make you change one way or another. It's, so it can be better to choose it. It doesn't mean bad things won't happen. Life's not like that. I find life incredibly humbling, because, some people would talk about their spirituality or their practice or their thing as like, oh, it saves me from all the bad experiences. Only good things happen to me now. And that's good for you. I won't try to take any that away from anybody if that's the case for you. But to me, it's real life. We're not here to, the goal isn't to have everything go our way, although that is so nice when that happens. So nice. I appreciate it. I love synchronicity. I like the flow. It's all good. But is that the purpose? No, it's not. And, sometimes I wonder if I just went through every single day with nothing, no glitches, no interruptions, no challenges, no trepidation, no nothing, then, would I do the work? Because the real deal, what we're doing here, to me, it's about freedom, actually getting free, which means getting off of the maps, the map of archetypes, the map of emotions, all the pendulum maps that cause us behaviorally or experientially to go back and forth between poles that really don't help us. So it's super worth it. If you remember that every new beginning is a huge amount of power and energy to be claimed, then that might help. And so new beginnings, they have the greatest visionary potential of all. And that's why it's so great, and why, it can take a while. It took me weeks to come to this place of actually feeling happy about the change. But that's okay. That it didn't take years. Maybe it'll go faster. And Chris said, what are my thoughts on the law of attraction? Oh, great question. It's always seemed to me that this was not a natural law. Yeah, it's there is a certain truth in it, and that's why it works on a lot of people to hear about it, and then they go, oh, that's it, right? But it's just what I was talking about. So you can use your superpowers any way you want. It's free will. Oh, and I got to talk about the name of this podcast, by the way, reminded me. It's total free will. How you use the power that's given you is your choice. So some people do believe that we're here to get what we want, to have the good job, the good husband, the good things, the good house, the good, the goods. We just want the goods. And so if you believe that to be your purpose, then you're going to go for the law of attraction and you're going to use your superpowers to get what you want. And it does work to some degree, although I've seen it fail as well. I've seen people fail miserably on that. And does it have super longevity with anyone? I always watch to see, trends. They come up and they go down and they kind of disappear. The Secret was so big at a time. It's based on that law of attraction. And it's very appealing, and it has a lot of sale value, because who doesn't want to have everything they want? A lot of people will fall for that as a platform. Oh, just do this thing and then you get everything you want. And there is some potential for that. And I know people who've got a lot. I know one woman who released right to the very bottom of any shadows around money that she had, the absolute bottom. On the heels of that, someone gave her a business, a whole entire business that was working and running and making money, right? And then she got the good husband who had all the money, and so I saw her. I was just remembering her today. She released all of her money shit, and then she became wealthy. She gained a lot of financial freedom. So she got what she wanted. But to me, the much more important thing that I was talking about before is going right for freedom and not getting into the traps. So I was telling one of my good friends the other day, and I know that there's been the work going around teaching children to be, is it clairvoyant, clairsentient, telepathic, whatever word they're using, and not have to use their eyes to see a color or to see an object or something like that. And I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. Some people might think, oh, that's fake and gay or something like that. But I don't doubt it one bit, because I know we have powers. If we cultivate them, we do have them. We can use our life energy in that way. But is that the way, right? Or is that a trap? And this came a little bit from my studies in India of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I have been getting a little bit more back to some India roots, by the way. I'll say more about that before I go today. And Alex Seck showed it. Yes, exactly. And so I don't want to be a pain in the neck, but I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Patanjali Yoga Sutras had an entire pod. There's four pods in that scripture. And the last one is all about powers, developing powers. But the very same scripture warns you, don't go on this path, even though it's all there, kind of the recipe and the formula and all the sounds that you need to create what you need to know to create these powers. And it was considered to be an off-ramp, that it's not a path towards freedom, it's a path towards power. And you can get that, right? People bend spoons, and they walk on fire, and they lay on a bed of nails, and they do some tricks. You could call it tricks, and I don't mean to put it down, but that's in a way what it adds up to. And so because they're so alluring, because people lust for power that they think that they lack, and nobody's been taught to actually want freedom, which to me is the most important desire of all that we forget to have, then they go sideways and they put their life and their energy and their time towards developing powers instead of becoming free. So that's my soapbox that I would get on about law of attraction. There's a certain truth, you can use it that way, but it's to me not the noble path. You always feel fate is being tempted when things seem so good, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, that's it. It's hard both ways. When things go bad, it's hard, and when things go good, it's hard. Have you noticed that? I can get equally into a tizzy on both sides, and sometimes I would even hazard to say things going good seems more dangerous than things going bad, and that's of course due to conditioning. And so yeah, I mean, one of my friends from my days in India used to talk about it, that there's this something happens and then you go, yay, this is amazing. And then something else happens. You're like, oh, darn. Right. And then you just wait 5 minutes and it's like, oh, great. That happened. Turned out to be a really good thing. Yay. And then, you wait another 10 minutes and you realize like, oh, something else bad happened. And so this is the wave of life that we're on. And I shake my head sometimes how incredibly happy I can be just to drive full speed on the perimeter, like I was talking about earlier. And it's just like, it's not quite it. This happiness. If I hit a pocket of bad traffic or more construction or some psyop they use to close the road, then I'm going to be unhappy, right? So we're looking for the happiness that has no opposite. It doesn't come and go. It's not up and down. Neither is it neutral. That's total BS. By the way, I might have to get deep into that at some point. And getting off the archetype map. So the purpose, this is my revelation, the purpose of all of the maps, emotional, spiritual, archetypal, is to get off the map, to show you you're on a map, right? And the map is never the thing. The map is only a representation of the thing. It's a manifestation, something that can be observed with the senses, but off the map cannot be. So we need a map to get off the map. That's what I'm sort of talking about. I know that's pretty esoteric. The moon is in Uranus and Sedna conjunction now. You looked it up. I don't know the meaning of that, but that's interesting. You find it schlocky, if that's a word. I don't know that word. And this easy trick. Yep. Oh, it's going to be easy. Indigo children was real. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit that it was real. That's not I don't have any, I'm not thinking that anyone's faking anything at all. And hello, A, nice to see you, host you here. Chris said, do as much as you can. Do as much as you can during the good and hunker down during the bad is how you go. Yeah, not a bad plan. And the yay and the boo happens more because we're on the internet too much. Yeah, it can be. I think it can be, definitely. So yeah, I think just a couple more things I wanted to mention. And let's see what's on here, if anything. I was going to talk a little bit about the name of this podcast. Maybe it's self-evident, and I kind of put it in the notes as far as the hint goes, but you wouldn't believe the number of times people would come and send me a message or let me know that compared to what they were finding in the truth and freedom movement in the way of podcasts, that mine was a breath of fresh air. Why? Because I don't do doom porn. I don't ignore the doom. It's still there. I can't completely turn away from it. That would seem irresponsible. There go off the sirens. And but I refuse to give it all the airtime. That if we sit and we talk about the doom and we talk about the wrongs and we talk about the lies and everything that's going bad and wrong, that's, by the way, if we're talking archetypes here, that's the shadow alchemist. They use their very precise vision in the shadow to notice what's wrong. And they're really good at it. All day long, they might be taking inventory. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, you're wrong, and that's wrong, and you're wrong. I'm wrong. And so, you need to know the wrongs. You need to know how we're being lied to. But once you know. And then what? Right? Then and this may be a way to stave off a new beginning, to not have to go into that trepidatious unknown. Because as long as you can point out the wrongs, then you got a full-time job. That's the whole life right there. That will consume all of your time and all of your energy. And so I prefer, if possible, to look at solutions. I find one of the ultimate solutions is right here inside ourselves. I know it's a cliche, the answer's within, all of that kind of stuff. But we have a whole lot of hidden data going on inside of ourselves. We are not self-aware, turns out. Just there's a lot of room to grow in that capacity. And I hold that the more you actually know yourself, who you are, even off the maps, all of them, including the physical map, then that's power. That's the real power. That's not the powers that you develop. That's the true power. That's the source of power. And if enough of us could get there, if we could maintain our awareness of freedom, of the source, of the purpose, which is synonymous with all of that, that will uniquely express through each of us. If enough of us could do it, then I think we could move the needle, right? That's my vision. And for me, if people want to wrestle out there with the demons and dragons, that's okay. And I've had to do that at times, and I'm called to that. I'll do that. But I would rather work in this fine, subtle place where I can see massive transformation, change of ability, greater capacity to be open and stay open, to have an open heart, to have compassion, to have connection. And these two things, the connection and the vision are the casualties of the way that we tend to go through, again, noticing all the lies, and then never mind arguing about the lies, arguing about what's the truth and the lie, or the lie and the truth, and seeing the situation this way or that way, and going through, like our latest psyop being this. It's all trauma-based mind control, because you can't go 5 minutes without talking about the hole in the neck and the blood spraying and the right away you're talking about things that should horrify, but because it's getting repeated over and over and over again, it's become a propaganda machine, and it's become a very powerful point of division. Then we lose our ability to vision. Interesting how division contains vision, but it's like division. Maybe it's like a split vision, like a split tree when lightning hits it, or something like that. And so this is my new mission, and it is thanks to some conversations I've been having with people in my community that are ongoing. Turned out to be a whole lot of them when I asked for some help to start again myself. What direction should I go in? Then what I'm going to do is create a group course on visioning, because I think a lot of people right now are in that place where they are just troubleshooting things, and they're not actually able to vision and then create based in their own vision. So that's my new thing. And then you can't have a vision without connection, because there's no vision in isolation. It doesn't work. Maybe for 0.001% of the population that are like the true hermits possibly could do that. But for the most part, it's going to be done through connection and not through division. So I think that's pretty much my whole entire story for today. I think I said it all. Got all my little notes here. Stay tuned for Got Poisoned. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to do that one, but that will be a good one. I'm interested in that. Maybe I'll invite somebody on to do it with me. And yeah, you've experienced. Oh, what happened to Matt Belair? Oh yeah, I see him periodically on I think it's Facebook these days, Facebook, where he is working out and being a real kind of guy, with a lot of strength and power in his body. And I imagine he's still doing his work. We used to touch base, but we kind of lost track. And yeah, I don't know if he's even doing his podcasts anymore. Maybe not. I'm not. When I lost my channel, I lost all my subs and never thought to resub. But I'll have to go and check in on him. And so you've experienced deep joy while in the depths of sadness. And yeah, that's interesting, because on the map of emotions, which I call also a scale and a spiral, then certain feelings mirror each other. And sadness is mirrored by acceptance. And it's not quite joy. Joy is more peace, but there can be that that kind of relationship there between them. So yeah, they're when you really allow yourself to go through the depths of sadness or grief or anything like that, you almost always come to a place of like love or joy or for sure acceptance. And it's not off the map, but it's a better, it seems like a better place on the map. It's a less painful place on the map. Quiet contentment instead of hyper glee. Yeah, that's how they would talk about it like that in India, that it's, not so high highs, not so low lows. I'm not even sure, because that's just playing with frequency. Maybe it's better for your nervous system, better for your health, if you're not all spiky. And you tried to find the beauty in grief because people kept talking about it, but it was not evident to you at that time. Yeah, I find if you go all the way, by the way, that's a lover archetype speaking like that, finding the beauty in grief. And if you go all the way, not that like, oh, there's a little bit of that grief and turn away and suppress it and come back to it or try to, pick it up at a different time. But if you really let that grief have you for a time, you will find the beauty in it. I have a whole album. It's called Where There's Beauty, and it is up on iTunes and Spotify and any online place that you can stream music. I also sell my CDs, and I've been doing a lot more stuff with my music or not a lot more, but I started to do some stuff with my music in the House of Free Will, where I do a weekly private podcast, a snippet. And so I'm using my music as a little bit of a takeoff for some of those snippets, including the verses of the Bhagavad Gita that I wrote music to and recorded on my first album called Vijaya Living Knowledge. So it's not even under if you want to hear that one, it's Vijaya is, put it in the chat here. This is the name of the album. So you won't find it searching Beth Martins. You'll only find my other 3 of those. So yeah, Vijaya, Living Knowledge. I used to go by the title Vijaya because it means victory. And that's my first name is Victoria. That's what I got called in India. I don't go there anymore. Now feels like I live in India because there's a lot of Indian people. But yeah, so Vijaya, I stopped calling myself Vijaya. Can you guys guess why? I stopped that. It's probably not what you think. So who is Matt Beller? He's a wonderful podcaster, and he was one of the pioneers that started speaking out, and he took lots of censorship and attacks and everything like that. Him and I did the Choose Freedom Law Summit together, where we interviewed more than 30 alternative law people, which I had to take down because it's all crap. Unfortunately, it's literally all crap. So it's not available anymore. It was a good exercise. I met a lot of really good people, but I can't stand behind any of those presenters anymore. Unfortunately, Matt, I still like. You're welcome, Jackie, and thank you as well for being here. Matt used to share a podcast. It was the Choose Freedom Law Summit. Exactly. You got it. So, yeah, if you wanted to check out that, was it because of Oprah, yes, you got it. You totally got it. And it was almost always, it was a guy that I would say, he would say something like, oh, what's your band's name? I would say Vijaya. And he would say vagina. It happened like too many times. And I'm like, no. That's it. No, you got it. You nailed it. So yeah, Brendan hasn't been on lately. He's still around. Yes, Brandon Sterling. He hasn't been, but he's teaching every single week. And he's a really good teacher, actually. I enjoy him. I am extremely slow. This is a place I'm not fast, a super slow learner. And I just hang around and suck my thumb in his classes. But he's a good teacher, and he's able to put the information out there pretty good. So I'll probably let you guys know when he puts out another round of his boot camp for teaching people how to become financially literate, specifically with trading. I don't know if I'll ever do that, if I'll ever have the guts. I'm just like, oh, that's too hard for me. But I don't mind becoming more financially literate. And I like being able to watch the actual trends and be able to now slowly be able to read the trends and see what they mean and compare them to what the truthers say in the doom porn category. Like I won't name them, but I was watching one of the truthers that talks a lot about finance. just a little bit. And they're going like, oh, this is up and this is up and this is up, because we're like in a bullish market right now. But they're like, oh, that all means impending doom. Like this is up and that's up and the Nasdaq's up and the S&P 500 is up and Bitcoin's up and everything's up, but it means doom. It means doom, and it might. I don't know. It's just like, oh, it's the last flame before it burns out or something, is how it's being presented, which I've been hearing since 2017 or even 16, 15 already. Could be true. I don't know. I don't know. But and you like my guitar? Thank you. That is a handmade Quebec sourced guitar. The label is La Patrie. And they're super inexpensive guitars, but they're really beautifully made, and they sound really good. So I'll probably get my, I get my hands in full force. I'll probably sing it, or play and sing a little bit for you guys. And yeah, it's a nylon string, one classical string. Oops. And the imminent collapse has been coming every month since 1998. Exactly, right? Exactly. So it's like, come on, we got to live, you guys. And that's the whole thing, right? If you're just sitting there hunkering down, all you're doing is saving canned food and planning for the worst. And that's not going to help us vision. That's not going to create anything new in our future. And like, I think I saw a line, I might steal it, and it's like, make the future great again, right? Like, let's actually work for the future. And I think the byline for my course was deprogramming the future with archetypes. What do you guys think of that? Right? Because that's the thing. Every single time I put something out, it is a leap of faith, right? If I have to tune out the doom predictions that have been coming every month since 1998, and I just have to take the chance of creating something as if the future is going to exist, and it keeps existing, right? So far, so good. Every single time I put something out, like it's going, like the future is going to be there. It keeps being there. So, right? Could be worse. It's been a good experiment. And for later, a synopsis of Moon Uranus Sedona conjunction comes from the Eric Coppolina of Planet Waves. Yeah, that's over my pay grade. And for later, she says, or he says, Achille, I'm not sure which. And yes, you love it. And Paula Poundstone, comedian, does a hilarious bit on not knowing markets, but gets so depressed when the Nasdaq is down. Yeah, that's another opportunity. If you're in there, that's part of what scares me. That I used to watch my dad. He did a little bit of stock selling and buying, and then he'd look at the newspaper, and then everything would go doom and black, like everybody would have to be unhappy because this is thing, and then it'd go up, and he'd be woo woo, everybody party, let's all be happy. What's wrong with you? Kind of thing. And it's just, that is a shadow of the accumulator archetype, by the way. I read money archetypes. That one is not my system, but I've used that for many, many years. And it's good to read, your purpose with money, because everybody has a different relationship to it. We all have to have some relationship to it in the slave society, which some would argue we're not actually in, but seems like it. We all really have to deal with money one way or another. And hey, Trinity 4, Beth of Fresh Air. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. I've enjoyed seeing your pictures pop up and with a variety of good faces out there. Nice to hear from you. So yeah, I'm just coming to the end, preparing for a little adventure away with my son. I get to spend 48 hours with him. Wow, that's like a lot. I'm lucky if I see him like shadow in the night. So yeah, he's got a full-time life now, and it's pretty beautiful. So yeah, so this was the first episode of Beth of Fresh Air. It was born of people telling me that my podcast is a breath of fresh air. So when I was, a little bit for 5 minutes, I was crying that I lost the first podcast we tried to start for various reasons. Doesn't really matter. And then I'm like, okay, beginning again. Here we go. And what's it gonna be called? Who knows? And I was actually jumping on the trampoline and just had a real I try to open my mind, and just in case there's any data in the field, I'm open for it. I'm available for it. And then I remembered somebody had just written me and said that my podcast is a breath of fresh air. And I thought, Beth of Fresh Air. And, here, the secret hidden meaning that I'm so glad I remembered to say this because that would have been sad. The secret hidden meaning in this title, Beth of Fresh Air. Do you guys know what Beth means specifically in Hebrew? And you are welcome. It's kind of a cool word. And remember the like button, Jackie. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you are new here and you want to subscribe on YouTube or Facebook, I'm sorry I didn't get Rumble going. I got it almost all the way, but it didn't. I needed to hit the button. Darn it. Yeah, I'll upload it there. So yeah, does anyone know what Beth means in Hebrew? And while we're waiting, I'll read this comment from Trinity4, who's got a great channel. You'll want to go and sub to him as well if you like the whole FE world. Oh, wow, enjoy that. You've been having some good times with fellow truth seekers. Your work is vital for our progression beyond the program. Know thyself. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was an honor to host you in that training a few years ago. It's hard to believe. It's a few years ago. I talked to someone this week that I hadn't talked to and worked with since 2019, which was really fun because not everybody sticks around with me. I go through a lot of changes and a lot of iterations and have to, sometimes people are just like, oh, I can't relate to Beth anymore. Oh, interesting. Bethlehem. And so what was I going to say? Yeah, it was fun to hook up post pandemic and catch up and it's fun. Yeah, Bethlehem. Well, it's not unrelated because what does that word mean, right? What does the Beth part mean? There's a lot of Beths in that world, like Bethsaida, which I don't know what that means exactly, or Bethlehem, or right. The word, I'll just give it to you guys. The word Beth in Hebrew, it means house. So this podcast is the Beth of Fresh Air, but it's also the house of fresh air. Isn't that fun? And Beth also means matrix, and it means womb, or the Vesica Pisces, which shows up in my House of Free Will logo. So that was a hidden meaning for me too. I did not plan that part. I just thought it was really, really cool. And I do pride myself in being a kind of house or container for the work that I do, for the people that I can host, the relationships that can develop. I do invite you to consider joining as a member of the House of Free Will. This is my humble beginnings in being a force for free will. This is our highest value over there. Tom Barnett agreed to an interview to come and talk about free will because he has a really cool perspective. Beth of Free Will. Exactly. Yeah, there you go, Chris. See, it works both ways. Exactly. And so there's a link in the chat if anybody would like to apply. It's not because I'm being a snob, just to make sure that we're on enough of the same page that we're going to get along and not have unnecessary conflict and division, which can happen anyway, but it doesn't happen anymore. It seemed to be, it happened at the beginning when it was really important and a lot of people got turned off and left. But a lot of people have, or not a lot, but some people have stuck around. We have a real core group that meets every single week for a meeting that we enjoy. And I do the snippets every week. So private podcasts. These days I'm doing a little singing in the snippets. And then we do workshops. There is a workshop coming up on Monday, as a matter of fact, on method writing with Dagmar Stansova. So that's going to be fun. That's for members only. Everything is recorded there, so you can accept the meetings. We don't record the meetings. They are private. They are just totally, it just turned into a really nice time for people to be themselves, to say whatever they want to. I get to say whatever I want to. It's where I share some of my opinions that are not appropriate for the public, where I'll say stuff that nobody's going to hear anywhere else. So that's all there. And then the library of recorded materials is there as well. Things that I can still stand behind as solutions in the world of truth and freedom. So I think that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I'm super excited. This is going to be now a regular weekly podcast. I changed it to 2 p.m. Central Time rather than 3 because 3 was not my original choice. So now I have the chance to choose it as it works better for me. I prefer to work in the middle of the day. And Jackie just sub to Trinity 4. That's nice. Good for you. I think you guys will get along well. And thank you, Maya, for being here and for sharing your life stories. It's very inspiring to hear about your upcoming course. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It won't be new to you. So people who've done Journey Code, it's the same tools always apply. But the whole focus on visioning, I think it's powerful. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to just be great. And now I've got a creative chew toy, something that I can put all of my energy towards in a fully purposeful way, not just trying to like not be lost anymore. Now I actually have some vision. So very good. And you're welcome, Chris. Thank you so much for being here and being part of that uplifting. And thank you, Em, for coming. Yes, we will connect in person someday, no doubt soon. Thank you very much. Wish us luck on the road and at the border. Thank you. Nice to see you. And we shall talk to you soon. Bye for now.